How do you create a mindset of success in an industry that is pretty determined to break your confidence? I got to tell you, I've been in the publishing industry for 30 years, maybe longer, and there's not a day that goes by where I don't think, I suck at this. There's no way I'm going to be as good as this book or that book, any of these books that I read that I think are amazing and talk about on this channel. But you have to overcome that, because how else are you ever going to write that book of your dreams? Now you might be saying, but wait a minute, didn't you just tell us that our first books are probably crappy and the first chapter is probably crappy and we need to try harder? And yes, I do say that, because I wrote 10 books in 8 years before I sold my first one. And I know you guys have heard that a lot, but I say it a lot to remind you that you don't get to become a New York Times bestselling author by writing crap. You don't get to sell 8 million copies by writing crap. You have to really learn your craft. And at the same time, you have to believe in yourself. So it's this constant catch-22 where you're trying to believe in yourself, think, I can do this, and learn your craft, and yet not be discouraged by the fact that you're writing crap and you have a lot to learn. It's a constant cycle, right? So how do you create that mindset of success as a writer that will put you in that 1%? Because frankly, only the 1% of all the writers out there are making an actual living wage at this, where they're saying, this is my 9-to-5 job. And I'll be honest, this has not always been my 9-to-5 job. There have been years where I have made a lot of money from my books, and other years where my business has made more money than my books. That roller coaster will go up and down. It's part and parcel of this industry, which is why I've talked about in other videos, having your writing eggs spread out among multiple baskets. But in the meantime, you have to keep going, you have to keep writing, and you have to keep believing that you are meant to write this book and that you can write this book. So beyond the trite advice of putting up motivational quotes everywhere, which I have said before because I do that. I do have motivational quotes all over my desk and my office. Beyond that, what can you do to create a real mindset of success? And if you want some regular motivation, some rah-rah from a community of writers, join my community. There's a link down below. It's free and anybody can join that's a writer and kind of get that community of people that are saying you can do this. In real life, when you're by yourself and you're sitting in front of your computer and you're thinking, this is crap, why am I even working on this? How do you circle back to become that person that believes in yourself and believes in your book? Number one, you've got to find proof of concept. That is the proof that you can write. Sometimes that is just one line out of your entire book that you look at that and you're like, that is an amazing line. I have done it once. I can do it 50,000 more times. Now, granted, that is pretty overwhelming to think about writing 50,000 lines that are just as good as that one line that you did. But that's okay. You've done it once. You can absolutely do it again. You created a standard for yourself with this proof of concept that says, this is a fantastic, absolutely wonderful line. I can do it again. I need to hold myself to this higher standard. Now, will every line you write be at that level? Absolutely not. And that's okay. I don't think I've read a book in my entire life where every single line was just wow, 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 because nobody can be perfect with every single line, every single paragraph. If you take that proof of concept and you use it as a way to say, I can write a compelling line, I can write a compelling paragraph, then you have those snippets that really keep the reader engaged. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for something where the reader is just saying, that was awesome, I got to turn the page. Oh, that was awesome, I got to turn the page. So start with your proof of concept. Find the best thing you've ever written. Find the best line in the book you're working on right now. Take it out, tape it on your desk and say, okay, see that amazing line I wrote? I can do it again. The other thing that can make it hard and yet also easier to keep a mindset of success is looking at other authors. I've read dozens and dozens of amazing books over the course of my life. And some of them I look at that and think, I will never be that good. I will never be able to write like that. But then I can also step back and go, wait, I can study what makes this so good. I can really tear this apart and say, how did this author do this? And how can I do it as well? Now, I do have a handout that helps you analyze other people's books and your own that you can download for free. It's linked down below. But that will give you exactly the roadmap, essentially, the GPS for how to write a good book. And you have to learn how to analyze what you read, because the only way that you can innately understand structure and good writing is to study it. I've met a lot of writers that have told me they don't read that often because they're too busy writing. You can't just write and not read. You have to read to be able to see what's out there, what your competition is like, how other authors are doing it, and really develop a gut instinct for what works and what doesn't. Yes, it can be discouraging because you can look at something like the Chuck Wendig book I talked about in this video here and think, I am never going to write a line that's amazing as that. But you can also say, look how Chuck really showed these emotions. Look how Chuck really got across with his pacing and the way he did his sentences, this sense of urgency and this sense of fear and this sense of relief. How can I do that too? There's a million tiny lessons in every page of a great book that you can learn and you can apply to your own work. The third tip is one that I think a lot of people don't do because they're so wrapped up in the insecurity and anxiety over writing a book. And this is my baby, and what if it sucks? And what if nobody likes it? And what if it doesn't sell? And what if I haven't learned enough about how to market or how to print or how to format or any of these things? They're so wrapped up in the what if down the road that they're not really worrying about the right now on the page. You have to treat your book with respect. You have to treat your writing time with respect. There's a book out there called Deep Work, and the whole concept is that you do your most important, your deepest work, your real thinking work early in the morning or whatever works best for your schedule, but you set aside a time every day where that's important to you. And that concept is that that time is sacred to the work that is important, which means that you don't scroll Instagram. You don't look at TikTok at the same time. Now, I'm just as guilty as anybody else of doing that because I'll be like, oh, look, an email. Oh, look at what's on TikTok. Oh, look, I just got a notification on this. And those notifications are just pinging and pinging and pinging. And I get distracted and I lose the book. And I can tell because when I look back at the scene that I wrote, it is meh. It's not that good. It's not my best work because I allowed my brain to get distracted. Your creative brain needs to really immerse into the book in order to do it right. And if you sit there and allow yourself to get distracted or you don't put your whole self into the book, it's going to show on the page. So you have to respect your dream. Set your time aside for your book. Make sure that you dedicate yourself to it entirely, even if it's only a half an hour. Put on some concentration music, turn off all of the notifications on your phone or your computer, and really invest in yourself, in your story, in your characters, in your plot, in your dream. Because if you don't do it, nobody else will. The handout that I've got linked down below is a way to kind of perk you up when you're struggling and to remind you to keep going after your dream. And I totally get it because I need that sometimes just as much as you guys do. And actually coming on here and doing my live streams or doing these videos reminds me why I do this all the time. It reminds me how much I love this and it reminds me how much I have to invest in my craft in order to make it as good as it can possibly be. Don't let the excellence that is out there intimidate you. Don't let it stop you. Don't let it make you do subpar work. Allow it to bring out your natural talent in storytelling. Find the pieces of your work that are amazing and hold on tight to those because if you've done it once, you can do it 100 more times. And in the meantime, check out this video here on how to really make your first chapter sing because it will help you bring it to life, make it the best it can possibly be, and start off with your reader at a really great place. Don't forget to subscribe and like and share because other writers need to hear these messages as well. And I will see you on the other side of the page.